Hey guys, Cam here from today'siphone.com, and I have a review for you of the iPad mini. This is going to get embedded in my full written review on our site, so be sure to check today'siphone.com for the entire review, but this is just the video review. Now, I've had this since opening day on Friday. I pre-ordered it to make sure I got it on the first day, and you know what, I'm really impressed. It was one of those devices where I bought it not because necessarily I needed it, because obviously needs a very strong word. It's a smaller iPad. I already have a larger one. It's one that's fit a hole in my life in which I kind of knew was there but didn't really think I needed. Now, the great advantage of the iPad mini is its size. Obviously the name says it all. It's a mini iPad. Essentially what you're looking at here is an iPad 2 shrunk down. So when people are complaining about the price, when people are comparing it to stuff like a $200 Kindle Fire or a Nexus 7, they're kind of forgetting actually this is an Apple device. It's never going to be $200. These obviously start from $329 or £269 in the UK. Now if we start off with the design quickly, now one of the best things about it obviously is its size. You can see I can quite comfortably fit it in one hand, and that's the beauty of it. For doing stuff like browsing the internet, reading books, browsing through your Twitter feed, Facebook, all the casual stuff that you do with your internet connected devices every day, it's so much easier on a smaller, lighter, thinner tablet than it is carrying a large iPad around, and that's why that is why I love this iPad mini so much. Now obviously it's got other features. The display itself isn't widescreen ratio. Again, it's Apple. I don't know if anyone was expecting that, but it was never going to happen. 7.9 inches, and I believe 1024 pixels vertically, 768 pixels horizontally. If I've got that wrong, I'll put a little tab just here and you can see the actual correct figures. Camera on the back, it's got 5 megapixel shooter on the back. There's no LED flash, but then again, I don't think tablets are for photography. It's just a nice little feature, and actually the video capture and the image capture on it is decent enough. I'm not going to be complaining about that. It's fine as it is. There's a FaceTime HD camera on the front, which produces really good quality video calls for Skype and obviously FaceTime. But if we go on to the negatives, the only real negative here is that there's no Retina display. I'm actually quite convinced that if this did have a Retina display, it would be my perfect tablet. I love the size more than the iPad 3. In fact, this has replaced my iPad 3. I use this so much more. I use this every day, every night. My iPad 3 is now my family's, and they use it for watching videos and playing games and browsing the internet and stuff, and that's fine because I actually love this one so much. And I know I keep using that word love a lot, and sounds like I'm getting romantically involved with a tablet, but I'm not. I'm just impressed because I wasn't expecting that. When the iPad mini was announced, I just thought, great, it's a smaller iPad, there's nothing special about that. But actually, I find it's a lot more personal. There's things that I really like about the design. I love the curved edges here, the kind of soft touch aluminium as well, so it just feels so comfortable in your hand, and with it being so light and thin as well, it's just really nice to hold. It's one of those things that you can tell Apple's really thought through, and the build quality is fantastic. It's a really solid piece of aluminium. The switches are good quality. The only switch I really don't like is the mute switch. Unless you've got nails on your finger, you're going to have a trouble actually flipping that across. Now, pushing it across isn't easy if you just use your fingertip. It's taking some effort, but easy enough with your nail. It's just because it doesn't quite stick out enough. It's almost flush with the surface of the iPad, and that's quite disappointing, because if you thought Apple really pay attention to design, maybe they wanted it really close to the body of the iPad, but I prefer a little bit more coming out there so that I can flick it easily. And the home key doesn't give us quality response, and now you can tell that when I'm picking holes in really little things like the home button not quite responding properly and the mute switch not being quite properly designed, that there isn't a lot wrong with this device. If I was to give this a mark out of 10, it would easily be a 9. It's not perfect. If it had a Retina display and a faster processor, I would give it a 10 out of 10. Speed wise, performance wise, there's nothing about it that makes you think this is a cheap, small rubbish tablet. It's fantastic. It does everything as you'd expect. Now, obviously the screen is going to affect how you see things like games, with it not being as sharp as a Retina display, but in terms of actually loading times, actual performance, switching between apps, you're not going to have a problem. And you're not going to notice that it's a smaller device, because it's not meant to be a lower device. That's not how it's been marketed, that's not how it's been designed. It's just a smaller iPad. It's an iPad but smaller, and that's what I think is fantastic about it. They haven't made it cheap, and obviously that is reflected in how much we have to pay for it. They haven't gone to try and cut costs in any way, and it's just a fantastic tablet. And if you're looking for a tablet that's not 10-inch, you want a smaller tablet, then you're going to be struggling to find one that's any better than this fantastic thing. If you want to ask me any more questions about this, please feel free. I'm at TIP_cam on Twitter, and I'll see you again soon.